I asked you a question before we got on the air about rivalries, because we started talking about this David Ortiz thing where he wants to get a standing ovation in Yankee Stadium. So I asked you, who are your big rivals? And does it exist like it used to?
You know, it's funny. I know what he feels like, to tell you the truth. And one of the really cool moments of my career, it wasn't cool because I got my jaw broken in 22 places, was right here in Madison Square Garden. I got hit with a slap shot, broke my jaw in 23 places, and it was crazy.
But that's not intentional, though.
No, it's not intentional.
Okay.
But I went down, was knocked out, blood coming all out from underneath my helmet, and I stood. Everybody came out to take care of me. I said, I'm skating off the ice. You're not lifting me. So I got up. They're holding my jaw, and I skate off the ice. I got a standing ovation from the fans in Madison Square Garden.
Oh, wow.
And that was like one of the coolest things ever, that they applauded that I stood up and skated off the ice, because not many Flyers get a standing O. So that was pretty cool. But my big rival was Mike Modano.
Ah, the Stars.
Yeah, I mean, he was the #1 draft pick in 1988. I was number 8. Sorry, I was number 8. So we grew up since we were 9 years old, always being compared to who's the best young player in the United States. And it got to the National Hockey League, and it didn't stop, because he was with Minnesota, I was with Chicago. Minnesota and St. Louis were our two biggest rivals, so it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I always wanted to rate myself by how I played against him.
Yeah,
so I ran after him, I hit him, I got suspended for 2 games for hitting him as hard from behind. I got my jaw broken in Dallas because I hit Mike Modano really, really hard the game before, so retribution. I mean, there's so many things.
Did he fight back?
No, Mike was a lover.
Yeah,
he never dropped his mitts.
Not
once.
I'm a lover, not a fighter.
No.
So you basically prayed on
I don't think
he let the enforcers come after.
Correct. And one thing about Mike Modano is he's the best USA hockey player in the history of the game.
Amazing.
Without question, in my opinion, the best hockey player ever to be born in the United States. But I don't think he ever hit anybody or fought anybody, which is probably why he had such the durability. He played as long as he did. Me, I kicked the crap out of myself.
Yeah, you brought it.
And I kicked the crap out of my body. And, I paid the price.
Let me ask you this. Who? Give us 2 other names. Who are the other 2 names? Take yourself out of it for a moment. Who would you say are the top 3? Got to throw LaFontaine on there at some point, right?
LaFontaine, I would have put LaFontaine at the top if he didn't have his concussion problems, that he would have played a little bit longer. There's no question he would have had the points, the points total. He would have had more points than any American ever. You see his stats are incredible for the amount of time that he played. So Patty LaFontaine with the asterisk would have been up there. The other 2 guys that I would throw up there is Chris Chelios and Brian Leetch.
Chelios, unstoppable in the video game.
I mean, these
unstoppable.
These 2 guys are, not only do they epitomize, high level of play and just great defensemen, but their leadership qualities are just phenomenal. And you talk to them, you wouldn't even know that they were hockey players. They're so down to earth, such cool guys, fun guys. But those are the 3 that I would put.
You talk about that rivalry from high school all the way through to the professional level. It reminds me of AAU basketball. You hear that in basketball, right? These guys now they've been playing against each other since they were kids.
Yeah.
And because they play in the same circuits, right? And they make it to the NBA, and so they're boys, but it's not, their rivalries. It's different. I wonder if hockey, because it feels, and look, I'm a novice at hockey, but I know a little bit, but I'm a novice. I feel like all of the great players, they're coming in internationally.
Yeah.
They're coming from Russia. They're coming from Poland. They're coming from Canada. Where is American hockey?
It's real big now. And, the last few years, it's gotten bigger and bigger. I mean, the United States is a superpower now, and a lot because of, our generation. But you look now, the #1 draft pick next year is going to be an American. And by the way, he was
what position?
He's a winger.
Nice.
And by the way, he was born and raised in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Wow.
And he's a product of myself and Keith Kachuk and the Phoenix Coyotes. When we went to Phoenix, we started the youth programs. We built arenas and really got kids into hockey. And Austin Matthews was one of those kids, along with my son that was born in '97. That was the byproduct of what Phoenix Coyotes did in the desert.
Get out of here.
And the #1 draft pick in all of the world, the #1 prospect in all of the world is from the desert.
Because of expansion.
Because of expansion, because of what's going on. So American hockey is alive and well. And by the way, 11,000 new kids, 11,000 new kids tried hockey for the first time on Friday, and USA Hockey's Play Hockey for Free Day. And so, when you do things like that, where you allow kids to try something for free, you get 11,000 new kids in one day.
But let me ask you this, Jeremy. We when we have the discussion with the NFL, with football, and where it's going in the next 15 or 20 years, and who knows, although Tiki and I both think there's a chance it's gone eventually, at least the way we watch it and consume it today, unfortunately, with all the head issues. We don't necessarily incorporate hockey, but I want to throw it in on this angle. Lacrosse. When you look at the next wave of athletes, a lot of athletes are now going to lacrosse. Do you see them, has hockey gained athletes or lost athletes as a result of anything happening with the NFL? Or even football below the NFL?
Yeah, I don't think it's taken a hit either way. I really think it's been gradually increasing. You're not going to get an influx of kids moving to hockey because they don't want to play football. But you don't have a lot of kids leaving hockey because of the concussion aspect. I mean, it is one thing.
Is it as big a deal as it is in the National Football? I feel like it is.
It's a big deal, yes, but it's not as I think in your face and prevalent as it is in football because you know football. You know as much as I do. The first point of contact is the head, especially for linemen.
Of course.
I mean, that is the first thing that's going to get hit.
But also because it's not as popular. And not to take a dump on the NHL. It's an incredible sport.
Well, listen,
but if the NHL was as popular as the NFL, it would be front and
There's
center.
that many eyes.
But this is my point. This is my point. I don't care what sport it is. I don't care if you don't even play a sport. Concussions are going to happen. You're not going to get away with it. What the real important thing is about the concussion situation right now is diagnosing it properly and treating it properly.
Yeah.
I would play the same way I played for 20 years. Even today, knowing what I know, I would not change the way I played. I would run around like a kamikaze, throwing my body everywhere and take the concussions. But I wouldn't go back and play the way that I did when I got the concussions. I would play back-to-back games after getting knocked out.
You get knocked out.
Do you know how many of you had? Do you know? I mean, if you had a
I
guess.
had 13 knockout, like
unconscious,
like ding, ding, ding. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Wow.
13 that I was knocked out, and I played within 3 days of all of them.
Wow.
So
are you worried?
I try not to worry. I'm okay now, and my life is I've done more in 46 years than most people do in three lifetimes. So I'm never gonna complain if something happens to me at 55.
You're not going to regret it.
I'm not going to regret it.
How come we never heard anything about the Weidman hit and concussions? Because when I see that hit,
well, they're trying to.
He went head first into the board. Right?
Yeah, he got hit hard. He got hit hard.
Really hard. And then he's going back. And I felt like, to me, it looked like he was disoriented, had no idea what he was seeing. Someone flashes in front of him. It's instinctual.
You've gotten a stinger, right?
Yes,
so,
of course.
So you get a stinger. So what happens in a stinger is you start seeing stars.
Yep.
Right?
That's a concussion, by the way.
Yeah, it's right. That's definitely a brain injury. Okay. What you get in a stinger, you see stars, right? So you see stars, and all of a sudden there's a lot of them, and then they decrease, and then all of a sudden you can see again. That takes about 4 or 5 seconds.
Yeah.
From the time he got hit to the time he got to the bench was over almost 15 seconds. Okay? So by the time he had that stinger, by the time he got to the blue line, he could see what's going on. Not only that, but when he gets to the blue line, he waves his stick to the bench, telling the bench that he's got to change. Telling the guy in the bench, hey, comfort. If you're cracked up, you're not going to tell the guy.
Aware.
You're not aware of telling the guy in the bench. Okay? And by the way, when you see somebody, you don't have to push them and check them with your stick. Don't you bear hug them like, oh, sorry. Like if you bump into somebody in the street, you give them a little hug. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you.
You acknowledge absolutely all the time. If you're a gentleman, you should.
You don't extend your arms.
Unless you just got jacked into the board and you're PO'd as well.
Plus he didn't leave the game. And he practiced the next day.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so there's so many things that that they're trying to move to the concussion aspect, but it's not going to work. You can't take abuse to the officials.
Talking to the great Jeremy Roenick with us in studio, which is a really nice treat. Jeremy, two hits. We'll tweet this out. 2 hits before we let you go. Bettman's been the commissioner for a long time.
Yeah.
All right. Baseball is going through Manfred with the domestic issues, and he's navigating this. And we know the NBA with Silver still relatively early in terms of his commissionership. Goodell is what it is. If you had Bettman's ear, which I know you do, but if you really sat down and had one message that no matter what you said, he would embrace and he would implement within the league, applying to anything, what suggestion would you give to the commissioner right now of the NHL?
Wow, I mean that's really hard. I think number one, the image of the National Hockey League is spotless. I mean, we have a couple of incidents here and there, but nothing compared to the NFL or the NBA or things like that.
Why do you think that is?
Because it's a culture. I think it's a respect in the game of hockey. It's where they've grown up. It's how they've grown up. I think it's the way that the organizations treat you as soon as you get in. As soon as you get into a system, you are drilled that you are to act this way, represent the jersey this way, and there's a code of conduct that they really drill into you in hockey. It's the culture that you grow up in, and it's respecting the teammates that you have next to them. And the hockey players are very, very respectful, and they're very down to earth.
It's true.
Where I don't think I know a lot of basketball players. I've been around a lot of basketball players, and they make me feel inferior.
No, the NHL locker room is the most organic.
It's also a pain in the ass.
It smells terribly, but it's a great spot.
But for Bettman, he's done a great job. He's raised the revenue huge in the league.
Yeah.
They're trying to get more scoring, but Bettman's done a great job all in all.
Great seeing you. Cap's going to win it real quick, yes or no? They're the best team by far?
I think they'll win the East. They're going to have a tough time against teams like L.A. and the Kings, and the Kings in Chicago, and maybe St. Louis.